Amanda Blue from San Francisco World Spirits Competition. I am speaking with High Bank Company Distillery today. They are a distillery out of Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. So here we go. They are a restaurant, a distillery, and they create. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for
All
joining
right.
me.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to turn up the volume so I can hear you. There we go. Hi,
Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Adam. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so you guys had a big win this year.
Yeah.
Tell me about your company and how long it's been around. And I know you guys have a restaurant and
Yeah.
tell me
Yeah.
a little bit
So
about the genesis of the company.
we were established in 2017. We opened our doors in May of 2018. So we back in Ohio. Up until about 4 years ago, you cannot have a restaurant attached to a distillery. And so we were the first distillery that was built from the ground up as a restaurant and distillery. It was a big deal for us because we're just as much into the hospitality aspect as we are into the distilling and blending aspect. So for us, with that being the first one in Ohio since Prohibition, honestly. So they changed that law like 4 years prior, and then that's what made us kind of do what we did. Originally, we were going to be a distillery with a very small tasting room, and then when that was changing, I'm now sitting next to 14-foot tall glass windows that look straight into the restaurant, and so I feel like a zoo animal back here 5 days a week. So I can just watch what I'm doing.
So why did they have those laws in place?
I mean, Ohio's a liquor control state. It's pretty tough on what they allow. They're doing their best to change things. So, but it's there's a lot of legislation that has to change that's been in place since Prohibition. I mean, beer and wines really progressed really quickly and really far here in the state, and but distilleries kind of got left in the dust. So we're doing our best. We've grown from in the last 5 years. I think when we started, we registered 4 years ago. We were probably around the 20th distillery in the state, and now there's over 60. So it's grown
Wow.
quite a bit in the last 4 to 5 years.
Okay, so tell me about your best in class winner
Yeah,
and
so
about that product.
our brand Whiskey War, we make bourbon in-house here every week. We're in production every week with that, but the thing is we haven't released it yet. So we've been around for 3 years, and I'm a big fan of properly aged whiskeys. And so for me, I didn't want to be forced into the spot to where we're making our product and we have to then release that product at 6 months or at 12 months or at 18 months when it's not properly aged. And so the idea was to come up with our own blend. And so Whiskey War is that blend. So it's a blend of 3 different mash bills that we source from MGP. And it's our own proprietary combination. We do it in 6-barrel batches. So we do it very small batch. We get about 1,500 bottles per batch. And it's a rye heavy blend. It's one rye and 2 bourbons that go together into it. And historically, up until about 4 months ago, the average age was about 2.5 years for each product that was going into that blend. But as we've grown and demands continue to increase, we've been able to switch that 4 months ago to a 4-year blend. And so the San Francisco Spirits Awards was the first one that we submitted our 4-year blend of Whiskey War. And we couldn't be more happy with what won because our barrel proof is my favorite product. That's how I created the blend, and what I based it off of was a barrel strength product because that's what I enjoy to drink myself. So.
And what's the story behind the name Whiskey War?
Yeah, so Whiskey War, back in 1875, there was a gentleman by the name of Henry Corbin that was trying to open up a saloon here in Westerville, Ohio. So Westerville, Ohio is about 12 miles north of Columbus. It's just a suburb right outside of the outer belt in Columbus here. And back in 1875, Henry Corbin tried to open up a saloon, and it was a very religious-heavy area. And so there was a protest that was happening outside before he opened up his doors. Later that night, somebody put 2 barrels of gunpowder in his saloon, blew it up, didn't get to open it. 2 years
Wow.
later, he tried to reopen that saloon. Same thing happened. There was a ruckus
Whoa.
outside. There was protests going on out there. And the story goes that a crazed and drunken Henry Corbin came on onto his front porch, drew both his pistols, and started firing them into the air. And so that's why our logo is the cross pistols. And the papers wrote it up saying that that is what ignited the whiskey wars, which then led to Prohibition. So it is touted that Prohibition started in Westerville, Ohio, because of that single act that happened with Henry Corbin. So Whiskey War is really touting back to those historic stories around Columbus here.
That's a very cool story.
Yeah, my background's in brand and design management, and so I get kind of a brand story nut. So I like meanings behind things. So.
Mm-hmm. So besides the best in class winner, tell me about some of the other expressions that you submitted to the competition.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Tell me about some of the other expressions that you submitted to the competition, because I know you got other awards as well.
Yeah, so we the other one, so we got gold in. So we have a product called Whiskey War Double Oak, which is again the classic Whiskey War blend that we've aged the second time in a new oak barrel. That's personally one of my favorite products that we've come out with, and so we were happy with that. The other one that we got gold with was what's called our Barrel Select, which you can see in the black bag over my shoulder there. That really is, those are a lot of fun. So they are one-off bottles. We have 270 bottles or so that come out of a barrel, and it's our Whiskey War barrel proof blend that we second age in just really unique barrels that we can kind of find around our state, around our country. And we've even started shipping some barrels over from Spain and France for some ones that are currently aging back there. But those are, we release 2 or 3 batches of those a year. That's it. We release them around the holiday times. They have a really nice metal 3-dimensional, pistol cap on the top that weighs 1/4 pound, and it's just a really nice elevated package.
Oh, wow.
But the product inside is excellent, and those don't last long. So first few batches that went, sold out in less than 2 hours each. So it was pretty cool.
Wow. So tell me where we can find these bottles. I know I saw on your website that you can get it through a liquor website in Ohio. Is there any way to get the bottles outside of Ohio?
Yeah, so that's what we've been, obviously, this is what's elevated this whole process. And as most people know, and all these things, it just takes time. So we are surrounding the state of Ohio. So we are in, a lot of liquor stores all around the state. We are trying to get active in Woods Wholesale out of Michigan. So then that ships to, I think, 33 different states. So they're redoing their entire site currently. And so that site's down at the moment. But we are working some different avenues. We're hoping in the next 4 weeks here that we'll have multiple ways for people to actually purchase, the product. Because we've had, demand's obviously increased a ton. So, we would love for these products to get outside of Ohio ASAP.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, what would be your favorite whiskey cocktail with Whiskey War?
Oof.
I know everyone says, all distillers and owners say, just drink it neat. But just for fun purposes, what would be, it actually doesn't even need to be a whiskey cocktail. It could be one of your vodkas.
Yeah, my go-to is here at the restaurant, we have a cocktail called our Smoked Old Fashioned, and we smoke in a really unique way. And that's made with regular Whiskey War, but I always get it with barrel proof. So our barrel proof product, that's by far my favorite cocktail that we have, is a Smoked Old Fashioned. But what's funny about that is I don't make cocktails at all. I do just drink spirits straight. Another one I think we got, I don't know if it was a bronze or a silver, the Midnight Cast, the Whiskey War Midnight Cast that we have. That whole product was created out of my laziness of not wanting to make a cocktail. Because what Midnight Cast is literally it's 85% barrel proof and 15% port wine blended together. So it's not aged in a port wine barrel. It's legitimately just mixed with port wine. It's delicious. It's nice and sweet. It's still got a whiskey burn to it. And so that's when I feel like having a cocktail, I pour Midnight Cast into a glass. And if I feel fancy, I'll put an orange peel in it or something like that. So, but that's fantastic. To the extent of what I can do.
And tell me about like a great meal to pair it with.
Oh man,
I mean,
that's
you obviously serve a lot of amazing stuff at your restaurant, but
yeah,
what would be your favorite pairing with a whiskey war?
yeah. That's a great question. I mean, my go-to here is always our glazed chicken sandwich with usually the seasonal veg, which right now is this corn succotash, which is awesome. I think that goes really, really well. It's a really nice hot, got some spice to it, complements that rye really well in the barrel proof, and those veggies just make it feel real fresh. So, um, yeah, that's what I would do.
Awesome. Okay, last question is what music would you pair with
Oh
while
man.
you either drink whiskey war or you distill just whiskey war?
Well, that's definitely two different things. I mean, I'm a backcountry bluegrass. Like, I love having bluegrass going, while I'm distilling. But while I'm drinking, like for me, it's like a nice chill, like Ray LaMontagne, radio station on Spotify or something like that. I mean, that's when you get the fire going in the backyard and the twinkle lights going. You pour a nice glass and you get Ray LaMontagne on and you just kind of chill. So that's for sure
Fantastic.
what I would love,
That
love to
sounds
do.
like a good night.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Adam. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Congrats on your medals, and I hope that we get to see your products in California soon.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.